Hi, love. Okay, we're going to look at your site. I think the main thing with this is that it's not, and I know that you know this, is that it's not really clear what you want people to do with the site. So you've got a fair bit of information about yourself, but it's quite hard to feel into what the navigation should be because we're not sure what you want people to do. Whether you're teaching or whether you're doing workshops or whether you're primarily selling your music or your online classes. So I think once you've got that clear, and like I say, I know that you know this really, once you've got that clear, it'll be easier to kind of take people through the site. And that sort of ties into the overall story of the site as well. So, I mean, I really like, I'm just going to share the screen, hang on, so that I can start to show you as I'm pointing to things. Okay, we're sharing. So nice to see your face. So your about page, which is your biog as well. By the way, you don't need to have that duplicated because it's the same, it's pretty much the same biog. And if I have missed some differences, I would just integrate them and take this off the bottom of this menu and just stick with the about page. What you can also, we'll start with the about page actually. What you can also do with this is because this set of paragraphs here, this section here is really about your. That's the cat doing something crazy in the kitchen. This is your biog, and probably what you want to look at doing is above that, having something that says, "Hey, come in, sit down." I'm talking about a bit more about what you're offering, which obviously you're not totally sure that is yet. But that's definitely what I would lead with on the about page, is saying this is the place for devotional chanting and life inspiration. I'm only getting that from your blog. And these are the ways that you can interact with me, and then link to the things that you're offering from there. But definitely use that space to do that once you're a bit clearer about that. So the voice section is kind of, this menu is where all the really important stuff is. I've looked at quite a few sites now with these drop downs, and I feel like the drop down is. I'm going to talk to the camera for a second. I feel like the thing with the drop down is it's like a way of saying, I've got all this information and I'm not really sure what to do with it, so I'm just going to lay it in a drop down and hopefully you'll figure it out, because I haven't figured it out yet. And obviously that's what you're doing with your let's share the screen again. That's what you're doing here, but it's also I've seen it, it's come up a few times. I've just crystallized that thought now. Let's share the screen back so we can talk specifically about what you've got. Share. Okay. So here, yeah, you've got. So if I click on just voice, what comes up? That's your voice. And then you've got the double problem when you've got a drop down, is that you've got all of these things in the drop down, but then you also have to have a thing at the top here, overarching thing, because otherwise it would be an empty page. And actually, it means that you're sort of duplicating information, and you've got information there, and you're not really sure why it's there and what your readers and users are meant to do with it. The way to navigate content management is to always say, right, from the beginning, who am I talking to? What's the point that I want to get them to? And what's the next step for them to take? And the next step can be as simple as click on this page now, go and have a look at this blog. It's really a complicated way of saying why. Why is it here? What's it for? What's the work it's doing? So let's think about eliminating this drop down, and let's think about repurposing this information. So let's start here with these lovely words about your voice, which also appear. Where do they appear? Is it on your about page? Yeah, they're there as well. So there's a bit of repetition going on. Now, you can't really have too many testimonials. I'll just mute that for next time. You can't have too many testimonials. But I would have a praise tab actually where you collect your testimonials. I would also think about putting these, like smattering these around the site. So this is again brings you back to thinking about the journey through the website. And so rather than, for example, if you had a house and it had lots of beautiful art in it and lots of like little objects and things, it's the difference between ramming them all up in a cabinet, like line upon line upon line upon line of things, and actually taking them and putting them here and putting them there and having something on a windowsill here and something here in this little corner, so that you can take each thing in as you go through the site. And testimonials are like your jewels. They're the jewels in the crown of your work, actually. And so you do really want to let them shine. Sometimes when you have a list like that, they don't shine out as well as they might do otherwise. And they are real jewels, these little testimonials. So definitely have them in one place. And I would have a tab at the top that says praise. But do feel free to reuse them elsewhere. I quite like the idea, and you could think about doing this on your homepage. I quite like the idea of having a slider that has different testimonials come up as you go around. Okay, let's just share the screen. We're doing it. I have my life in these videos, toggling between shared screen and not shared screen. Okay, so that's the voice. And again, so your starting point with what you've got as voice now, that the trouble with that is that it is not. It's not about how people are going to interact with you, and again, it's leaving the user up. It's leaving it up to the user to decide. And you kind of need to make it easy for people. You need to say, look, this is the relationship that I'm offering. Relationships. These are ways that you can engage with me. Now, excuse me. From that point of view, it makes sense to have a tab which just says music, because then people can listen to you. But then, of course, it's not just about passively listening. It is about engaging with you and joining in with the bhakti. So spending some time thinking about how you want people to interact with you, I think is going to be really helpful to position this. Having said all that, it would be really, and that's really going back to the about page. It's funny, I feel like I'm tripping over this a little bit more than usual, and I think it's because there's not something clearly laid down. So the summary about the voice, talking about your voice, it all goes in the about page, because that's what you're about. It is all about voice. So yes, you don't need an overarching kind of summary about voice, because that's what the about page does. Then we've got these free online resources, which are little workshops. They're not even workshops, they're just 4 free lessons in simple bhajan, which are beautiful. And you could use these and share these. You could be sharing these more and using them as a starting point for people to connect with you. You could be sharing these on Facebook. The sound quality isn't how I would really want to have it. I think you need a separate mic for your voice for them to really work. But this is a concept I think is lovely, and it's a really good starting point. There's something really warm about how you introduce these, and if you can lean more into that and more into welcoming people into the space, then I think these are going to be a really beautiful resource that you can share with people. I'm just going to run through the tabs first. Okay, so the events, again, so events is another thing that is quite a common thing to find on the website of people who do workshops and yoga classes and things like that. And I don't find it a useful, personally, I don't find it a useful term and a useful category, because, I mean, events it's okay, before going on a rant about semantics, I think the point is that, again, you want to think about who and how, who is looking and what are they looking for, and how are they looking to interact. And events just feels too, it just feels too broad. It's kind of like, I do some stuff and it's like gonna happen, so yeah, here it is. It gets you out of the job, it gets you off the job of properly inviting people, actually. Maybe that's what it is. I'm still trying to work out what my rant is about this. If you're doing an event, you need to know who is going to come and why they're going to come, and you need to actually be inviting people specifically to that event. And you also need to think about a kind of sales funnel. Feels like a weird word to use in the context of sacred devotional music, but by sales funnel, I really mean who are they? What's the beginning point of contact with you, and what's the journey that you're going to take them on? And even for an event, people have a reason for wanting to come, and the more you know about that reason, the more that you can communicate that to people. Yes, having a kind of general catch-all events page becomes relevant. So list of upcoming events, and then this is just don't have this displayed if you're not going to have any events on here. I mean, events pages work if I don't know, even with like gyms and dance schools and stuff, I find these quite difficult to interact with, because you end up having to browse. The trouble is with events listings, you end up having to browse through lots of information, and the organising factor is date, and people don't generally choose workshops by date unless it's lots and lots of the same workshop being repeated, and that rarely is the case, in which case you need to curate the information according to how people want to use it. It's difficult to give examples on here because you don't have different things. But here you're offering the different things you offer: Kirtan and Bhajan, chanting workshops, Sanskrit chanting, song baths, and Nada Nidra. Now this information here, that needs to go on your About page, because that's part of what you offer. Then from your About page, you have a hyperlink to a page on either a single page on Kirtan and Bhajan on each one of these, and then talking about what you do and when they're on offer and stuff. Or you simply have a single page that says, this is what I'm doing, do you want to come? I've got a Kirtan coming up there, this is who it's for, this is what it's going to be like, I've got a chanting workshop, da 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 da. But springboard these from a single page. Have all your activities, all the things that you offer, jumping off a single page. It's like, it becomes like a contents page, and you can make it visual. But I certainly, and this may be just how my brain works, but I like to see an overview of all the things that are on offer, and then I choose what to go into, rather than having to plough through lots of information to get to where I'm trying to get to. Okay. So, do you get in touch with yeah, so this really feels like, it needs to go on your About page, this summary, but this really feels like the heart and soul of your Work With Me page, which is the thing that's missing at the moment. And there's nothing to stop you from fleshing these out a little bit more on a kind of Work With Me page, even if you're not offering anything at the moment. And then at the bottom of that page, and the bottom of the About page, you can link to video and audio. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily have these on separate pages. So from the bottom of your About page and your Work With Me page, you can link to resources where people can actually listen to your music. I prefer to have it all in one place. Certainly at the moment, while there's not so much in either, I'd much rather have all of this in one place. The gallery, I mean, these pictures are gorgeous. And it's kind of nice to see all the things that you do. So I don't take exception with this particularly, other than it's another distraction for the busy brain. And you certainly want to be looking at using these images elsewhere in your site as well. But it's great, it's a lovely page. So yeah, you could make gallery a tab up here actually. So you're looking at your tabs. Your tabs here are the home page. Work with the pray about. I like about to go after the home page because I think it's the most important page on the site. Home page, about, work with the, praise, blog, gallery. Or you could have gallery and music, and then in that place you just have a kind of showcase and then content. What else? Let's just have another quick look here. And this is lovely because it's got more images, so I really like that. So use the images more, but this is, yeah, basically the same information you've got on the About page. So, yeah, and really look at getting a Work With Me page. Energetically, there's something about saying, yeah, I do all of these things. And then, oh yeah, and then, I don't know if I can find it from here, but no, that's not going to happen right now. But then I saw that you're doing some Amma chanting on Friday, and that's an event that's hosted on your website, but I can't navigate to it from anywhere on here. It's its own URL. So that needs to be linked from, hang on, let me just see if I can find it. Where are you? Go. Yeah. No, where's it gone? No, I guess he shared it in a group, so it's not showing up. Never mind. Yeah, so you really think about getting a Work With Me page, and then link from there to all of the different things that you can offer, and explain that in a bit more detail. Then let's have a quick look at the blog. You can blog every time you're doing an event and put that out on social media. So the ME stuff. The thing is, more and more I feel like it makes sense, particularly when you're doing something kind of much more experiential with the music. I just think it's lovely to talk about what's important to you at the moment. And it's just fleshing out the conversation, which is really great. These two posts at the top and bottom about Ganesha and the aphids, I really liked both of these. I would think about how you want people to use this writing, simply because you're such a great storyteller, and they're quite long posts. So it's not that long, is it? And what I thought that you could do, because it's almost, these two posts are almost like a kind of Dharma teaching, which is they're sort of spiritual reflections on things. I really love it, and maybe just lean into that a little bit more, in terms of how you're top and tailing them, kind of going, well, you know, this is speaking to this particular thing. This is what I'm going to talk about. You know, that old thing of like, tell them what you're going to say, tell them what you told them, and just maybe thinking a little bit about that. That's particularly useful with blogging, because that then reaches into the conversation of. Oh, and I just realised I haven't been sharing my screen that whole time. Ah, that's going to be a bit problematic. I'm not going to do that now.